Am I audible to everyone? Can you hear me?
Yes, you are absolutely audible.
Yes.
Okay. So, has the speaker joined? Dr. Manoj Das?
Yes, Professor Ghosh, I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, welcome. Welcome, sir. Yeah. Okay. And Professor Roshdeep Bera? Has he joined yet? Let me check out.
Probably not. Probably.
Probably yes, ma'am. So, in between, should I start? I
Yes,
think there are already 96 participants here and might be someone waiting in the YouTube live also. And as I have seen that it's recorded more than 900 participants, yet they have registered for this particular webinar rather. So most of them would be waiting in the YouTube live, and some of them might be what for the capacity, I think 150 or 200, they can join here. Anyway, we have already 102. I think I should start in that case. Parinanda?
Yeah, exam is over. Advanced mathematical ability test exam is over, no?
Bablu, can you please confirm whether it's over?
Because time is given up to 7:30.
Yes, it was 7:30, and I think he is preparing for the final sheets, I think.
Yes.
So we can wait just for 1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2, yes, yeah. Just
When
one.
Bablu will give the green signal, we can start, because we just broadcast it in the YouTube live also, and he is just there, the admin.
Yes, yeah.
That's fine.
Yes.
Okay, so we are waiting just for a few minutes or few seconds rather. So in between, I just take this opportunity to share one information that this is the foundation day of Calcutta Mathematical Society, the 6th September, and this particular society was founded in the year 1908, and that's why this is the 117th foundation day of Calcutta Mathematical Society. It's one of the oldest academic societies in the world, and might be a society of mathematics in India. So that's why we are having a rich heritage of these academic transformation and all these different activities. And every year, regularly on this particular day, we organize 2 different events. One is the mathematical ability test for 9, 11, 12 students. We just switch in that way, 1 year for 19, next year for 11, 12. This way, alternatively, we organize this particular test. This is the year for 9 and 10. Next year, we will organize for 11, 12 this way. And with that, we are also having one popular lecture. This is going to be the webinar on history of science. And every year, we just request one eminent speaker to deliver his or her talk on this particular topic. And this year, we have Dr. Manoj Das with us. So we will be just shortly starting this particular seminar. In between, I just need the confirmation from Dr. Kapil Vishash, who is the admin of this entire thing. If he gives us the confirmation that it is being also broadcasted now at YouTube Live, we can start it. Bablu, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Is it being broadcasted at YouTube? So I think so, because I can check my YouTube site also here.
Okay.
It's showing that Yes, it
So let's
is
start.
live somehow, some delay, but still, yeah.
Mhm.
In that case, good afternoon, everyone. For the Indian viewers, and good morning and good afternoon or good day for all the other viewers from the different corners of the globe. So here, as I have already mentioned, that today we are having this 117th Foundation Day of Calcutta Mathematical Society, and this year, as like every year, we organize one popular lecture, and that particular popular lecture is devoted to this topic of history of science. This year, we are having Dr. Manushpati Das with us, who is a program executive of All India Radio Kolkata chapter. So we will be hearing from him. But before that, we are having some formalities. That is why I request our Honorable Secretary, Professor Arindam Bhattacharya, to welcome the gathering. Sir, please.
Yes, so good evening, all of you, and very heartily welcome to the Foundation Day program, 117th Foundation Day program. Actually, in 1908, just our treasurer, Dr. Kaushik Ghosh, has mentioned that in 1908, 6th September, Sir Ashutosh Mukherjee, the then Vice Chancellor of University of Calcutta, and who is also afterwards became a Chief Justice of High Court of Calcutta, he founded the Calcutta Mathematical Society as an image of London Mathematical Society. So from that 1908 to the 117 years has been passed, and we are actively organizing many conferences and workshops and net training programs and various programs we are organizing. And I welcome to this seminar or just one day lecture actually from Dr. Manushpati Das, who will present his talk on some popular lecture on man and machine and in AI perspective. So before that, I just in brief, I just give the activities of our Calcutta Mathematical Society, and that is, it is given that it is one of the oldest society of its kind in the world. It is mentioned by Kaushik that it is the oldest society, and the primary objective of Calcutta Mathematical Society was to promote mathematics, education and research in our country, right from the primary to the research level. In view of this, CMS organizes regular pedagogical workshops for teaching and learning of mathematics, national and international conferences to make a platform for exchange of ideas and concepts in different frontiers of mathematical research among the researchers from all over the world. The CMS also organizes mathematical ability tests for the high school students to make them acquainted with mathematics at the international level. So just it is over today in from 6 to 7:30. The exam was held for class 9 and 10 standard students. The CMS has the privilege of being associated directly or indirectly with all leading scientists and mathematicians from its very early days. To name a few, we may mention the names of Albert Einstein, S.N. Bose, M.N. Shah, Meghnad Shah, R.C. Bose, N.R. Sen, C.V. Raman, Abdus Salem, who has founded ICTP, International Center for Theoretical Physics, H. Lamb, sorry, E.T. Whittaker, A.R. Forsyth, Ganesh Prasad, S. Chandrasekhar, C.E. Kallis, W.H. Young, G.H. Hardy, and many more. P.L. Bhatnagar. Okay. The society publishes 3 journals, of which Bulletin of the Calcutta Mathematical Society is an internationally reputed journal, and 116th issue has been published because it is published from 1909. From 1909, without any break, we are publishing the Bulletin of the Calcutta Mathematical Society, which is also UGC listed journal. Okay, and we have 6 issues of Bulletin of Calcutta Mathematical Society in a year, and many authors have contributed their papers in this journal, in this Bulletin of the Calcutta Mathematical Society. Some of the names are Henry Poincar, W.H. Young, Rees, Hardy, Freshe, okay, Walker and C.V. Raman, S.N. Bose, all J.V. Narlikar. So many authors have contributed their papers in Bulletin of the Calcutta Mathematical Society. And we have a large library also, where more than 25,000 books are there and journals. Some of them are extremely rare. And we have the journal exchange program with American Mathematical Society and in many other countries from Europe, Asia, and America, and from also some parts of India also. So these are our main contribution for the society. And we have also net training program. Those who are aspirants for net training, they take the coaching or the training for 4 months, and in the 2 halves we organize this program, one from February to April, February, March, April and May, up to May, and again from July, August to November. So in 2 halves we organize the net training program. There are many workshops. We have just recently we have finished a workshop, a 7 days workshop on various topics of mathematics. So for college and university teachers and for research scholars also. So, and we are also some outreach programs. We have outreach programs for where the school students, and we visit those various schools from all over the West Bengal, from at Bardwan, at Nadia, in Calcutta, at Howrah. Okay, and we have organized workshops for the teachers and also for the students. Okay, so there are so many activities of our society to enrich and to stimulate the students and others in the field of mathematics, and to eradicate the fear of mathematics from the students. So these are the activities, and there are more activities some of you know, and some of our members also. So I think those will join afterwards in Calcutta Mathematical Society. They will know more. And so I'll not take too much time, because you are waiting to listen Dr. Manush Pratim Das. He is a very eminent researcher and scientist, and he will give the lecture on man and machine, just I have told, in AI perspective. So I think you will enjoy the lecture. Okay, thank you, Kaushik. Kaushik is over.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Bhattacharya, for your wonderful deliberation and just sharing the facts and figures of Calcutta Mathematical Society. So just to confirm again whether Sir Roshni Kumar Vera is here or not. I couldn't find him in this table. So anyway, in that case, if he is not present, then I request again Professor Bhattacharya to introduce the speaker, Dr. Manush Pratim Das, and then we can start his lecture.
Okay. Okay, so yes, the time is running out. So I am just inviting Dr. Manush Pratim Das, and before starting his lecture, I must introduce him. That Manush Pratim Das has been active in the field of science communication for 3 decades. He is a good researcher. He enjoys writing about the history of science in a lucid manner that informs and it entertains one and all. He is a program executive at All India Radio, Kolkata, and looks after science programs, among many other things. He is credited with hosting the live show Bigyan Roshikeর Darbare on FM Rainbow for 20 long years since 1999. He is a recipient of several awards that include the National Award for Outstanding Contribution to Science Communication given by the DST Government of India. He did his Masters in Physics from Jadavpur University, from our university, and his PhD in History of Science from the same institution. So with all this, I request Dr. Manas Pratim Das to start his deliberation.
Right. Thank you, Professor Ghosh, Professor Bhattacharya, for giving me this opportunity. Thanks is due to all the council members and all respectable participants here who are here to listen to this presentation. Now, allow me a few seconds for uploading my presentation, then I can go along. I shall switch off the camera because it creates some trouble.
It was visible.
Pardon, sir?
It was visible at that time, what you have shared. Anyway,
many things are dropping. Okay, I believe this is visible.
yes, we can
Yes,
see
yes,
this.
visible.
Yeah,
Mm.
make it please full screen.
Is this full screen now?
It's visible. Anyway, please continue then.
Okay,
I think-
continue. Yeah.
It should have been visible, the full screen version should have been visible. But anyway, thank you again, all the members, office bearers of the Calcutta Mathematics Society, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. As Professor Bhattacharya was introducing the society to the audience, he mentioned the year 1908 when it was founded and founded on the lines of the London Mathematical Society. So I was reminded that in that same year, in 1908, London, for the very first time perhaps, organized the Olympics. So the London connection has a different dimension here also. Anyway, let's move on to the presentation. Now, in today's presentation, we shall try to highlight a few chapters in the history of artificial intelligence that are extremely significant. This presentation moves away from showcasing artificial intelligence to the routine manner, as we do by mentioning the important years and the relevant inventions. We are not here today to revise the chronological development of computing power or the machines over the years we are not intent on discussing all the electronics that are explained to be artificial intelligence. Tonight, what we wish to do is to help ourselves with understanding the concept of machine intelligence, on getting a feel of the phenomenal ideas that have shaped AI. Now, everyone understands that the field of AI is an interdisciplinary one. It is not enough to excel in mathematical formulation or in engineering structure to leave a mark in AI. Now, the field of AI has historically been indebted to the disciplines of philosophy, psychology, and social sciences. AI, as you can understand, just cannot become what it aims to be just by using engineering and mathematics. As scientists and engineers push more and more to build machines that are comparable to human entities in terms of cognition, they will have to tie up with these fields in a more meaningful and effective way. In fact, this bonding is actually taking place at pioneering centers of AI studies all over the world. At the same time, it has also to be understood that philosophy, psychology, and social sciences have reoriented themselves to fit into the scheme of AI. So naturally, our presentation today will try to take stock of the changed situation. We will speak on the history of science, but at the same time, will integrate the modern situation into our presentation time and again, so that we.
Dr. Dash,
Yes.
I'm very sorry to interfere here. Some of the audience, they are saying that the voice is not coming properly. It's being broken. And from my end also, I'm feeling that one. And also, please try at your mouthpiece or something like that where there is a problem. Please take that particular matter. And one thing, have you just changed the slides? Because we can see only the very first slide. In between, the other slides are not.
I haven't changed it yet.
Okay. So in that case, this your voice is somehow breaking.
Voice is breaking.
Can you resolve the issue?
I'm using the best of.
It's better somehow.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's better now?
It's comparatively better now. Comparatively better. Others can just share their views also.
Yes, I need to know whether I am audible.
Yeah, it's okay, I think. Okay, sir, please continue.
No.
Please.
Okay.
I think it is okay. Yeah, someone is saying, yeah, please continue that, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay then? Okay, right. So, as I was saying that the field of AI is indebted to the fields of philosophy, psychology, and social sciences. And these fields, in turn, have reoriented themselves to fit into the scheme of AI. So, naturally, our presentation today will try to take stock of the changed situation. Now, this webinar is primarily aimed at students who, I understand, are at the school level or might be at college level. I have designed the presentation accordingly, but as we all know, while machines become more and more intelligent under the supervision of AI specialists, our kids are also becoming smarter as they are exposed to changing scenarios. So I am not actually addressing school kids of today. I'm speaking to entities with a high benchmark of intelligence. That definitely makes me a little nervous. Let's see how I can cope with the challenge. Now, before moving on with the presentation, I would like to ask once more if anyone can give me the feedback whether I'm audible properly, because if I fail in this measure, then the whole presentation would be futile. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's okay at your end, no? Okay, then I shall move on. Right. my presentation is titled The Mind and the Machine, the AI Perspective. So the choice is obvious, as you can understand, since we are trying to get at the root of AI, not just showcasing the statistics, the computing power, the machines, etc. So this title, I believe, is proper in this case, I think. Now we shall start with Alan Turing, which is again logical. Alan Matheson Turing gave us the first digital computer. The history, of course, goes back to Charles Babbage, but that was decades ago. And for today, it is sufficient to start with Alan Turing. Now, Alan Turing, in an article published in 1948, titled Intelligent Machinery, that is available on the net, freely available, of course, categorizes intelligence as an emotional concept. He says that the idea of intelligence is not like something very precise. It has an emotional bent. I mean, if you ask two persons, they will give two different comments on the same entity, the behavior of the entity. One might say, well, I find this machine or this entity intelligent. The other, who might have discovered the pattern of its behavior, might say that no, this is not really intelligent. This is just a thing, somewhat programmed, somewhat putting forth results that are that seems to be intelligent, but this is not intelligent enough. So this is the emotional concept, as Alan Turing tried to categorize itself. Now, in the following slide, what I do is I again go back to the contribution of Alan Turing. He gave us the digital computer, okay, but we are more happy to discuss the Turing machine. What is the Turing machine? It is actually an answer to a question proposed by Turing himself. The question was formulated in this manner: can a machine programmed with a set of instructions perform any computation that a mathematician can do? The answer was, of course, the Turing machine. It contains schematically at least, it contains a tape, a head, and a state table. And how does it look like? The next slide gives you the idea how it looks like. It looks like this. Below you see the tape. It has a start point, and then there are symbols on each square of the tape. The whole tape is divided into squares, one after the other. And each square contains symbol. It could be the binary symbol, I mean 1 or 0. And the head is reading every square, one after the other. And the state table tells the head to change a symbol or to keep that intact as it is there. And this is the way it moves on, and it has to end somewhere. That is, of course, a requirement for the machine to perform properly. So it has an end point, and after the end point, it gives out the result. So this is, in principle, the Turing machine. So this is important for us. So I thought it proper to again recall the contribution of Alan Turing, how he enriched the field of computing and also artificial intelligence. We can never forget his contribution in, I dare say this, that he was the person to have, one of the persons at least, to have brought the Second World War to an end by breaking the code of the Enigma machine used by the Nazis in Germany. The Enigma machine, what it did was, you might know that, it coded a message that was sent to all the 3 divisions of the army, the Navy, the Air Force, and they attacked at the same time. That was labeled as blitzkrieg. So this blitzkrieg was possible only because of the Enigma machine, and unless was broken, everyone knew that Germany will win the war. Whatever may come, Germany will win the war, but it goes to the credit of Alan Turing that he was able to break the code along with his associates, and they worked at Bletchley Park near London. And this is, history, everyone knows it, but anyway. We move on to the next slide, and we bring in Marvin Lee Minsky, who is, again, another hero for us as far as AI is concerned. He was an engineer, a mathematician. Now, in an article published in 1961, he summarized the situation in this manner, in a very interesting manner, of course. And he said, if a visitor comes, if some alien comes to our planet and sees our civilization, sees our obsession with computers, he or she or whatever, I don't know whether aliens have genders or not. So he or she would be on one hand, he will be baffled by the mechanical brains surprising their creators. And he would be warned that these machines must be restrained, lest they were overwhelmed by might. And that truth is before all of us. And on the other hand, the visitor would find the machine being denounced. Why being denounced? Because of that inhuman dullness. The machines are not capable of giving intelligent answers. They just put out what is work in a very narrow area and puts out results that everyone can understand is very dull in nature. So their inhuman dullness would be criticized. So these two phases of our impression with about computers would be there, and naturally the alien would be very surprised or be baffled with our obsession with the computer. So this is one thing. Why am I bringing in this? Because we have for long wanted a machine that is intelligent. We wanted a genie coming out of the lamp of Aladdin, obeying all the orders that we put forth. And again, at the same time, we would keep on saying that machines would never be capable of being intelligent to the point where we are actually. So Marvin Minsky summarized it in his piece, and in that piece he also delineated how we can go about an intelligent work, an intelligent project by following these 5 steps. The first is search. To narrow down the search, you have to indulge in pattern recognition, then do learning, then do planning, and then finally induction. So these are the 5 steps as Marvin Minsky gave us in his article toward artificial intelligence. So that is again very important as far as our today's discussion is concerned. Now here we have a picture of how he visualized pattern recognition at that point of time. Suppose there is a letter B, another figure which resembles B, but we don't understand whether it is B or not. So he gives us a prescription for doing something so that the program, the machine having the program, can understand whether it is actually B or not. The figure will be extended within a fixed boundary. Here is the boundary of a triangle, and if it is extended and it touches the points in a particular manner and fits the scheme, then it's of course B. So this is the nature of pattern recognition. I mean, he introduced it in a very efficient manner, in a simple manner, of course. So that was the situation in 1961 when Marvin Minsky penned this article. See, I'm still very confused whether I'm properly audible or not. So pardon me for asking once again, am I properly audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So because I have worked hard for this presentation, and if it's not audible, all my work, all my thing goes down the drain. So anyway, now we have Rodney Allen Brooks, whom you can call a rebel in the field of artificial intelligence. And he had studied in all the major centers of AI learning and research. And he is Australian by birth, but has worked in the US for a long time. And in his piece in again published in 1991, titled "Intelligence Without Reason," he says that the way we are looking at the human brain, the model of the brain that we are constructing, is not proper. We are looking at it from the viewpoint of an electrical engineer. So this he terms as electrocentrism. Electrocentrism, by doing that, we are taking the brain as a sort of a black box with electrical inputs and outputs, and we are completely ignoring the fact that the brain is situated in a soup of hormones. So the actually biological condition that the brain is in, we are ignoring. So that was in 1991, which we might believe was quite progressive as far as AI is concerned. But Rodney Brooks finds the period not fruitful enough, not putting forth good results, meaningful results. And he finds fault with our attitude towards our brain. Okay, now from this point, we'll go over to something that falls in the domain of science fiction. You are familiar with several presentations on AI, and that often makes a transition to the field of science fiction. And in fiction, you can do anything. I mean, you cannot limit the liberty of a fiction writer. So you can ask him how he has formulated his piece, how he has imagined these things and that. But you cannot limit his liberty regarding imagining things, sending any robot to outer space, to other planets, making changes to the cosmic patterns, everything. You cannot limit her. But see, the reality doesn't always follow science fiction. It rarely follows, like I say. But this is something very interesting as far our today's discussion is concerned. This is Daniel Dennett. He was a professor of philosophy at the Tufts University. And in 1978, a collection of essays titled Brainstorm came out, where he said that consciousness is not part of the brain. See, if we are to make any machine conscious in any measure, we have to dwell on consciousness. We have to factor in the consciousness into the machine. Otherwise, the whole effort, the whole project is useless. So for that, we need to understand consciousness. That has been the effort all through these decades, not only the psychologists, the philosophers, but also the scientists. Many are trying to understand what consciousness in reality is. Now, consciousness, he says, is not part of the brain. We cannot equate consciousness to brain. He says it's what brains can do. Particularly, it's what human brains can do when they're mature and well-designed, and a lot of that design is not innate. Meaning, it was not inside the brain. It's the functioning of the brain that has resulted in consciousness. So a brain in isolation is not conscious. The output of the brain, properly mature, is conscious. Now, we bring in that piece which is very dear to me, and I believe you will also find this interesting. In that very compilation or brainstorms, the last piece, the 17th piece, is titled "Where Am I?" This is actually a science fiction. And what does the what's the central theme? I mean, it's difficult to give a central theme of a particular fictional piece, but I'll try. Then he said that he had tied up with NASA. NASA wanted his help, knowing his research with brains. Though he is a philosopher, but he has indulged in brain research. And NASA knew that, and that's why NASA contacted him and asked him for a help which he didn't expect to be asked for. NASA was developing, or our human civilization was developing a missile sort of a thing that would be delivered through a tunnel that is crisscrossing the center of the Earth from one end of the circumference of the Earth to the other end. And in trying to develop that tunnel, trying to build that tunnel and fire a missile through it to the red planet, NASA failed, and the warhead, the atomic warhead, nuclear warhead, was stuck somewhere beneath Oklahoma, beneath some place in Oklahoma. And they wanted Dennett to go to that place. And why did they want Dennett to do that? Because they said that you know about brain, you are mature enough to have a good understanding of the brain. What we will do is cut off your brain, separate it from your body, put it in a vat supported by fluids that will nourish it properly, link your brain with the body with electronic circuitry, of course, and they asked Dennett to think of the brain as, the separated body of the brain as an extension of consciousness. I mean, they said, suppose your brain moves half an inch inside the skull. What will happen? It is displaced, but you still have consciousness. We'll do something like that, and you will be able to connect with the brain easily. But why did they do that? Again, the question arises. They said that when you go to bring that warhead back for us, there will be radiation, and the radiation can be tolerated by the body, but would be very harmful for the brain. So we propose that you keep your brain here and go with your body to that place at Oklahoma beneath the ground and bring back the warhead. Now, when the brain was separated and Dennett was asked, again, remember, this is a fiction, nothing real. Dennett was asked, would you like to see your brain? He agreed. He went with the doctors and the scientists to the glass enclosure where he looked at the brain, and he had a peculiar feeling. He asked himself, where am I? Now, he followed a particular principle given by a philosopher that when you are confused, try assigning names to separate entities. So he named his brain Yorick, and he called his body Hamlet. And he said, Yorick is there inside the glass enclosure. I am here outside, the Hamlet is here outside, and I am Dennett. Now, where am I? So this question raised the fundamental query about consciousness. I won't describe the whole fiction here. I won't give you the whole fiction here. You can go to the net and read it. Again, this is available for free. Finally, what happens is the scientists actually train a computer to become at par with Dennett's brain. And when he comes back after trying to collect the warhead, he comes back to Houston where the operation was done and his brain is kept. He finds that even if he switches off the brain circuitry, he doesn't feel unconscious. He doesn't fall to the ground. He is upright there. He asks the scientists, what has happened? They say, okay, what has happened is this. We have developed a computer which is equal to your brain, we have matched the outputs all these months, and now we have found that the outputs are comparable to the outputs of your actual brain, biological brain. So we have given it a chance. So when you switched off your biological brain, the computer brain took over, and your consciousness, there was no dent in your consciousness. You felt same as before. So that was something that introduced us to consciousness in a different way. And Dennett has this, had this, he's not alive anymore, had this peculiar curiosity about consciousness and showcasing it in this manner. Okay, we move on. We come to agents in artificial intelligence. Agents in artificial intelligence are very important. Agents have been introduced and agents have been asked to make choices on our behalf. We will all agree that is the idea of artificial intelligence. Make machines stronger, efficient, give it powers of cognition so that it can work according to our plan, according to our order. And agents have been chosen for this. What is their responsibility? They will make choices on our behalf. But would they make same choices that a human would make? Not necessarily. We require them or we expect them to make optimal choices. So optimal choices mean that we give them our preferences in a proper manner. If we don't give them preferences in a proper manner, what will happen is they will get confused. They will not be able to carry out our orders. They will just slump. And they will refuse to do the work that has been assigned to them. So, say case one is, we prefer oranges to pears. And again, pears are preferred to apples. So what is the order? Oranges at the top, apples at the bottom. Now, in case two, suppose we write the preferences like this. Oranges are preferred to pears, pears are preferred to apples, apples are preferred to oranges. Suddenly, in the last step, you see that we have, all of a sudden, we have reverted the order. Now, it is inconsistent. The agent is confused. The agent actually doesn't know what has happened. And it stops functioning. It doesn't give you anything at all. No result. Nothing whatsoever. So why is this happening? Because we haven't formulated our preference policy in a proper manner. So that is the reason. Simple reason. Now, for this, for the preferences to have a proper order, for the machine to be able to carry out our orders in an expected manner, we should factor in, we should integrate something that will order the preferences and give us the optimal choice. And for that, we have utilized something called utility theory. This is important. Of course, we don't have scope for elaborating on it, but in a very brief way, we can introduce what a utility function means. It assigns a real number to each option. See, if you move around in society and you talk of assigning a number to your preferences, like what sort of fruit you like, what sort of place you like, whether you like visiting, going to the shores of the sea or to the mountains. If you tell them that these can be assigned numbers, not everyone will look kindly to you. They won't like the idea of assigning numbers to these preferences, these options. But anyway, since you have to do something with the machine and you have to do something so that the machine understands your order, you have to use this. You have to assign numbers to your preferences. And this is where utility function comes in. The utility function is expressed as U. This is the function. U of apples is greater than U of oranges. It could be otherwise. And this utility function has great value in all our field of activities, not only STEM, I mean science, technology, engineering, mathematics, not only that, it has application in economics, it has application in industry, it has application in defense, everywhere. So utility function goes like this. As more is the income, as the income grows, you purchase more things and you express your preference for a particular thing. You consume that particular thing or that item more and more, and thus the utility grows. So this line in the graph grows, but after one point, due to the law of diminishing returns, the shape of the utility function, I mean, it doesn't grow like this and in a straight line, it becomes quasi-concave. So that is the utility function in a very simple, and to introduce it in a very simple manner, this is the way. This case is interesting, since, as I said, I'm speaking to students who are in school or might be in the colleges. I found it interesting to speak to them about this case. Suppose there's a, and in case one, you are told that if you toss the coin and it comes down head, I mean, you have to accept that this is a case of gambling. You have to accept. If the coin comes down with heads up, you get 4 pounds. If it comes up with tails up, you get 3 pounds. In case 2, what happens is, if it is head, you get 6 pounds. If it is tail, you get nothing at all. No money. Now, which would be the optimal choice? Now, in case 1, if you go by probability, since the coin has only 2 sides, the probability of head coming up is 0.5 or half, and you can jolly well add 0.5 into 4 plus 0.5 into 3, it gives you 3.5. But in the second case, if you do the same operation, it gives you only 3 pounds in return. So what happens is, in the second case, you get a lesser amount if the probability works out the way. I mean, this is what is expected. That's why I'm saying this. So what will a person do when given the 2 choices? She or he will generally go for choice number 1. But if he is a risk lover person, he might choose choice 2, case 2, because with more heads, he will be earning more money. Now, the curves come like this. For a risk-averse person, for a risk-lover person, a risk-neutral person, the curve comes like this. So these are the things that a machine has to keep in quote-unquote mind. We don't know a machine has a mind or not. That is what we are trying to find out. At the end of the presentation, we expect to arrive there. All these things were based on a particular book, which was written by 2 very famous persons. One was von Neumann, a mathematician, and Morgenstern, who was an economist. This was first published in 1944. It gave us something called the theory of games and economic behavior. That was really astounding, to come up with a theory of not only probability, the best outcome or the optimal outcome, and give it to the citizen. And many share markets have actually performed on these lines. Whether they have done good or bad, that I don't know. That is written in history. But anyway, this was a very important book in the history of AI. Now, I won't go into Bayesian things. I'll skip this slide. I go over to something more interesting, a chess-playing machine. Now, in the 19th century, this piece is written by Claude Shannon, another electrical engineer and a mathematician as well. And he wrote this piece in Scientific American. That was way back in 1950. Now, he spoke of a chess machine, and he said in the 19th century there was a Hungarian who went from one place to the other saying that I have a machine, you can borrow this machine, and this machine will play chess with you. You don't need anyone, any partner, any competitor to play chess. You can have this for a certain price and you can play with it. So people started wondering what was there inside the machine. How did the machine do that? How could the machine play chess? Even a person like Edgar Allan Poe, he also wrote a piece on this. And what they suspected was right. Finally, it was found out that there's a human being inside the machine, and the machine played chess because the human being played chess. The human being inside must have been a good chess player, or at least an average chess player. Otherwise, the users wouldn't have been quite satisfied with the machine, and the machine wouldn't have done good business at all. So that was the system there. But Klaus Shannon, he is not satisfied with the machine that has a human being inside playing chess. He wants a machine actually to play chess. So how does the chess board look like with 64 squares, black and white squares? Before the game begins, it looks like this. Okay, you have all the pawns in front, you have the king, the queen, the rook, the bishop, the knight, all put in their particular places. He said, again, assigning numbers is the key thing. We have to assign numbers to the squares, each square, the rank. Rank means the squares that are aligned horizontally, and the squares that are aligned vertically are called rank and file. So you have to assign numbers for each of them. 2 digits would be required. Here it is written A, but in the next slide we'll see all are digits only. And what about the value of the pieces here? The value of the pieces would also be determined through numbers. For example, the rook would be given 4. The pawns would be given 1, like that. And the black pieces would be having negative numbers, and the white pieces would be having positive numbers. So this is the way it would go. Now, assigning numbers won't be enough. You have to, again, enrich the machine with the experience that a chess player needs. So, along with the experience and along with the assigning of numbers to each square, etc., the machine will be able to play chess up to a certain level. This was what Shannon expected, and Shannon detailed in his piece. You can again go through that piece that is available. Now, he said that in a typical chess position, there will be about 32 possible moves with 32 possible replies. Quite nice. So that creates 1024 possibilities. Now, most chess games last 40 moves or more for each side. So the total number would come, on the average, it comes to about 10 to the power 120. Now, he was left with the computing power of computers that prevailed at that point of time. He said a machine calculating one variation each millionth of a second would require over 10 to the power 95 years. So this is, I mean, not, we won't consider this at all. 10 to the power 95 years, I mean, why are we programming the machine there? No point in doing it. He said, so we won't be actually considering, or the machine won't be considering all the possible moves. It will be considering some optimal moves. Through doing that, it might lose something and it might win something. The effort of the computer programmer would be to increase the level of performance in a manner so that the computer wins more than it loses. Even a person, I mean a human being, after all the best effort that she or he puts in, can lose 3-4 games in succession. So that is possible. So why don't we allow that for a machine also? So he said, we would go for a machine that plays a reasonably skillful game, admitting occasional failures. Okay. Now, was it possible for the computer scientist or Lord Shannon himself to build such a machine? No, it was not possible at that point of time because the computer design, the computing power didn't actually support his plan. But in 1959, Arthur Samuel, he moved along with what Claude Shannon gave the civilization, the idea, and he played checkers in several countries. It is titled Draught. The game is known as Draught. So he played checkers with the same concept, and he was able to make the machine play a reasonable game. And that was the very first time that machine learning, the very term machine learning, came into our discussion. He said programming computers to learn from experience could be possible. And that would eliminate the need for much of the detailed programming effort. See, what Marvin Minsky had told years ago, not years ago, I mean almost at the same time, that was being put into action by these people, also Samuel here. And his technique actually was successful. Now we leapfrog to the year 1996, where Gary Kasparov, who became the youngest world champion at the age of 22, is playing Deep Blue of IBM. Now, we all know that it was played in 3 sessions. And even after the 3rd session, Kasparov was not very happy. He did acknowledge the power of the computer, but he complained on several counts. And he again wanted a rematch, but IBM was not agreeable to that. But having learned all these things, we go back to the fundamental question asked by Claude Shannon. He asked, does a chess playing machine of this type think? That is the most fundamental question. Does it think? Again, we have to take the help of what Alan Turing said. The answer depends entirely on how we define things, our outlook. So that is the way. Since there is no general agreement, the outlook might vary and the decision also might vary. We move on. In 1997, American computer scientist Tom Mitchell, he gave us a very good definition. He said a computer program is said to learn from experience P with respect to some task T and some performance measure P. See, we have 3 terms, not terms, different words, P, T, and P. Fine. And some performance measure T, if its performance on T as measured by P improves its experience P. See, these type of definitions are always required in science, because if you want to make certain achievements, you have to measure it within the framework of this definition. Okay, so that was the way it went. Now, again, we want to connect with the present. We want to connect the history of AI with the present. What are the categories of artificial intelligence that we are familiar with? The categorization has been done by us, not any alien from any other planet. We have categorized it as artificial narrow AI, and all our tools to this day are narrow AI, nothing more than. We are aiming to achieve AGI, artificial general intelligence, where new tasks can be performed, new tasks can be completed in different contexts, not the same context that you give the machine primarily, in a different context. And finally, super AI, where it can reason, it can learn, it can think just as humans do, or better. We would skip one slide and go over to this. Would our computers be able to do that in the near future? To understand that, we have to go to the Chinese room experiment. Just give me one second. Just give me 1 second. I need to please. So, there's a room where a person or whatever, an entity is there, and a string of letters, Chinese letters, are being fed into that room through the input system, and the output that comes out is in Chinese. The output, just like the input, has cohesion. I mean, it is meaningful, but it is given that the entity, whoever is there, doesn't understand Chinese. Let's assume that a person is there, that a human being, and he has been supplied with a made easy book, which is voluminous, which has all the guides to make him understand Chinese, and he's very efficient in making use of that guidebook, and he comes up with the answers in a manner that actually surprises the people living outside the field. Now here, as you can see, this cartoon is the lady and the gentleman. They say whoever or whatever is in that room is an intelligent Chinese speaker. But it has already been assumed that the person inside doesn't know Chinese at all. So John Survey, who is again a very important person in the history of computers and artificial intelligence, he says the reason, I mean, see, giving this Chinese room experience, he says the reason that no computer program can ever be a mind is simply that a computer program is only syntactical. You have to understand this from this Chinese room experiment. Here the person doesn't understand Chinese, but he can follow the pattern recognition. And he can, while using the guidebook, he understands what is written in each letter, I mean in the string of letters, and he can put together an answer as again guided by the book. So he doesn't understand Chinese, but following the book, he can put out results. So he understands the syntax. Third says that a computer understands syntax. It is syntactical in nature. He says computer program is only syntactical. Whereas our mind is semantical. Our minds dwell on the meaning of the strings of letters, not only the succession of letters or the relative position of the letters. We bank on semantics. We bank on meaning of the letters, what it represents. So that's why it is important to understand at the present level of AI, it's not at all possible that a computer program or a machine would have a mind. Now, where is this applicable? You might ask, why are you discussing all these things? Where am I to apply all this? We can, of course, apply this to pilotless cars. This is one example. This is, of course, one example. Pilotless cars, see, at level 0, it has no driving automation. At level 1, it has some driver. At level 2, partial driving automation. Now, all the pilotless cars in the world are probably beyond level 2. But if we are to understand that at some point of time in the next decade or so, pilotless cars will go from level 2 to level 5, where there is full driving automation, where no drivers will be needed. They will do it completely autonomously. A computer inside the car cannot just go by syntax. It has to go by semantics. It has to understand the color in front of it. No amount of experience fed into the system can give it the realization that a blue facade of a car is distinguishable from the blue sky beyond. Or the person moving inside or crossing a road can retrace his path and go back to his previous position, and that might cause an accident. This is not possible to realize just with syntax. Now, that is why Rodney Brooks, again, the rebel, he comes in our scheme of things. He had said that what the large language models are good at is saying what an answer should sound like. We are all overwhelmed with the power of ChatGPT. Rodney Brooks points out this ChatGPT is a product of large language models. It's again syntactical. Their answer is different for what an answer should be, just normal. Now we have to hurry because we don't have much time, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. So we'll just hurry and bring in the most important things here. For a computer or a machine to be intelligent, just as we are, just data information is not enough. Simon Baron-Cohen, again, who is a researcher in psychology, he said we have to assign, not assign, we have to understand the intentional stance adopted by humans. He brings in Dennett here. We have already discussed Dennett, his contribution, one of his science fiction. And he brings in Dennett here. Dennett has said that adopting the intentional stance is very important. As I said, a person crossing the road, if he, an aged person, is that person a kid, a young fellow, it matters because that will determine the intention, the intentional stance of that fellow. And the computer, the pilotless car, has to understand how it will behave. And intention, by intentional stance, the explanation is given here like this. The order 0 of intentional stance is like this. I will eat the apple. No belief, no desire. See, belief and desire comes in. Unless the computer has a belief, has some belief, some desire, it cannot be called at par, it cannot be labeled at par with human beings. Order 1 is, I know that I will eat that. Now, belief comes in. Order 2, I know that you know that I will eat that. It increases. The order of complexity increases like this. Most of us are limited to order 3. Beyond order 3, going is difficult for human beings. And order 5 is like this. I can't believe that you would think me capable of hating Fred just because he failed to defend Mary when John called her a dummy. This is order 5. Chimpanzees who are great apes can handle perhaps 2 orders of intentionality. We can sometimes go beyond 3, but order 5 is quite difficult in everyday life. Now, from this, we come to something which is very trendy now in AI. It is called theory of mind. So, from beliefs to desires that a computer should have in order to become at par with human intelligence, it must have desires and beliefs, and that actually composes the theory of mind that is being discussed, that is being implemented in several machine systems. The 2-year-old human, first order intentionality, 2 to 4-year-old human, second order intentionality, 5-year-old human, third order intentionality. Adult, of course, multi-order, but again, it is questionable whether we can go up to level 5. This example would serve you in a meaningful manner. See, the Sally-Anne test is used in psychology for understanding autistic children. What is the level of autism in a particular children? If that kid is afflicted with autism, what is the level? This is the way it goes. 2 little kids are there in a room. One is Sally, another is Annie. Sally has a basket, Annie has a box. There's a marble in the room. Sally has a marble. She puts the marble in the basket and she goes out for a walk. Anna is alone in the room. After Sally goes out, Anna takes out the marble from the basket and puts it into the box. When Sally comes in, now there is a question for autistic children. Where would Sally look for the marble? She wants to play with the marble. Where will Sally look for a marble? In most of the cases, I mean, you and me will always answer, she will look for it in the basket, because that is her belief. She had left it in the basket. But in most of the cases, autistic children answers, Sally would look for it in the box. See, when we answer basket, for a fraction of a second, our mind goes to the box first, but then flips again back to the basket, knowing that, yes, of course, Sally has her belief that she had left it in the basket, so it is natural for her to look for it in the basket. But an autistic children cannot follow this train of thought. A computer, which is much less efficient than an autistic children, would do the same. So, if it cannot reason like that, you cannot expect the computer to behave in a human way or humanly intelligent way. Now, this theory of mind experiment is being done with several AI systems. Some are claiming success, but most of the experts are saying these are very primary levels or very elementary level success. This must not be taken very seriously. Again, the last thing on our agenda today, very last thing, is the limit, the cognitive limit. Robin Dunbar, who was an anthropologist, he talked about social living. See, we humans do not live in isolation. We live in a society. And we talk with people, we mingle with others, we exchange things with others, we expect something from others, we get angry when the expectation is not fulfilled. And in this way, we maintain a meaningful connection with people around us, or might be far away from us geographically. People living abroad might be only connected through telephone and emails, and some might be social sites, social media. Dunbar, after doing enough research, had come up with a number. And the number is 150. He said, the number of people we can maintain meaningful relation with is 150. And that has come to be known as Dunbar's number. He calls it a magical number. And he said, if we look at the cortex of the human brain, it has increased as our social organization has increased, as the society has become more complex. The cortex has increased to accommodate more social reasoning. Like, what does our next door neighbor expect from me? What does my office boss expect from me? What do I want to do with that ball lying on the ground? What do I want to play with others sitting there on the bench? Or do I want to play with it alone? So all this social reasoning has gone into increasing our cortex size. Now the computer, if it wants to become, or we want it to become humanly intelligent, or intelligent to the level of humans, then it also has to do social reasoning. It cannot just simply remain in isolation and become intelligent and carry out orders. It has to, if it's a robot with an intelligent mind, it has to move through the streets, it has to drive a car, it has to go to places, to the parties, to the playground, it has to mingle with people, it has to shake hands with people, it has to bring out some meaning from the grimaces made by the person standing before him or before it. So it has to make social reasoning. So just from machine learning, it has to go to machine reasoning. That reasoning, we are unfortunate, hasn't happened yet. So we cannot think of a picture like this. Generally, a picture with which almost 80% of AI presentations start, but I thought it proper to keep it at the end because that is how my presentation moves along. So unless the reasoning comes in, unless we are able to give the machine the power to understand the intentional stances as spoken by Dennett and as elaborated by Simon Baron Cohen, we cannot expect to come up to the level of the human. So that is why it is now. Of course, we are moving along. Might be some big breaks will be there, and we will be able to see some real jumps, and that will might prove whatever conjecture we have today totally wrong. We would love to be proved wrong, but that is where we stand now. And really, thanks for your patience for giving me this opportunity to speak about something which I really love, which I am passionate about, which I study almost regularly. Thanks to the society, audience, and I believe erudite persons are there in the audience who would not be only listening to my presentation, they would also be judging how the speaker has presented it. Anyway, thank you for all the opportunities. And stop my presentation here. Over to this one.
Yeah, it was really a wonderful experience. I have to say that it was actually a quite a specific and wonderful journey from the very scratch of intelligence towards the artificial intelligence, as well as what are the basic differences between the cognitive mind intelligence coming naturally and the artificial intelligence. What are the basic perspectives of these artificial intelligence, and what can be the future prospect, and how not to get puzzled with human intelligence, and particularly to see about the mind, especially about the execution of different things which may not be perfect, but still humans skillfully organize those particular things properly. So that may not be achieved by the machine. So you have wonderfully explained all these issues. And thank you very much for this wonderful deliberation. On behalf of Calcutta Mathematical Society, I express my deep gratitude for this wonderful lecture. And now this particular forum is open for different discussions and questions. So if anybody has any question, you can type either at least here, or you can just, who are present at the YouTube live also, they can also type here. And we will collect the questions, and we will ask Dr. Nanustutim Das and request him to answer these questions and queries. So,
Kaushik, many people have raised their hands. So just
yeah, I think so. Open queue, let me just
to see.
How many of them are there? So, if you have any question, who is you can just open up your voice and you can ask.
Sir, I have a question. My name is Sridip Rai Chaudhuri. In the feedback form, there is one column is there. There is a institution is there. What do we write in the institution column?
I think we can answer this after these queries regarding the particular lecture. So after that, Dr. Babubisha's admin will address everything on these issues. So better now we can have the questions regarding the talk. Okay.
I have a question. May I?
Yeah, of course. Please.
Okay. Sir, I am Dipankar Chaudhuri from Shirampur College. You can recognize me. Oh, sir, I have two questions. Number one, nowadays AI is used to run the ERP, that means Entrepreneurship Research Planning. So how does it work? Number one. Number two, I heard the news that AI would be used for job recruitment process. So how will AI be used for the job recruitment project? So I have these two questions.
Shall I go ahead, Professor Ghosh?
Yes, sir, please.
Hey. Thank you, Mr. Chaudhary, for your question. I must admit that it's difficult to call someone an AI expert because AI has so many subfields that becoming an AI expert overall that can be claimed by only a few, very few persons, handful of persons all over the world. And I am, of course, no expert in AI, but I'm a keen observer. Now, the questions that you have asked relates to specific applications of AI. As you said, entrepreneurship or recruitment. Of course, these are already being done. These are nothing new. And even in our country, it has happened in a few places. But again, I won't go into the details because those are not very important. What I tried today is to give you at least a semblance of
How can we get
a semblance of an idea about how we can really come up with intelligent machines. Or are we fooling ourselves by patting our own back that we have achieved machine intelligence? What is left to be achieved? For example, if you take the case of recruitment, again, a robot or a computer sitting at the chair of a recruiter would simply go by the information supplied to it. It might not be able to analyze the expression on the face of the applicant, the face of the interview. It might not be able to analyze the stops, the sudden increase in volume, the sudden fall in the volume in his speech, which might be very, very important to understand what type of mental stress that fellow is capable of taking. And that might turn out to be a very important decision in the future scheme of the company. So, as Rodney Brooks pointed out very well, we are still stuck with that narrow AI where the computer generally goes by the pattern given to it, and of course, it develops on it. It goes might be a step or two further, but it cannot come up to the level of intelligence expected from it. So we are still to reach there, yet to reach there. So recruitment can be done, but not done very efficiently. That could be my answer, the best answer that I can come up with.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are perfectly right.
I'm Abhijit Gupta from BP Poddar Institute of Management and Technology. Now, my question is not about the technicalities of AI. What I would like to get your opinion about is the moral aspect of the whole thing. What we are trying to, or what we are seeing here, or aiming here is a creation of a super AI-enabled entity, which will be almost equal to a human brain. Now, is there a moral aspect to it? And why exactly are we going along this path or down this path?
Right. This is a very interesting question and almost a routine question in any AI session. And what I can say is, you cannot limit the flow of human innovation. Once the ball is set rolling, you cannot stop it. See, in AI, experts from different fields have found an area where their expertise can be limitlessly blended in different proportions to come up with wonderful results. Remember, even the failures in AI are exciting to them. They are not no creator in this world always aims for a perfect result. An intelligent person, an intelligent researcher always aims for sheer joy coming out from the work process. Even the failures are important. Even the byproducts are important. So at this very point, if you are speaking of morality, morality doesn't come into play at all. Of course, if you are talking about commerce, that is playing havoc, you might say that is playing havoc with our social life. Of course, that is the question to ponder over. But there is no morality in the machine now. And as far as the research in machine intelligence is concerned, I mean, the question of morality doesn't arise. Morality only comes into play when you are applying the results of AI research into our everyday life, into social life, into industry, etc. etc. So this is the way it goes. We are, you might come up with the question that so many people have been retrenched after the application of AI in industry. That is a question to ponder over. That is a question for the planners, for the agenda setters, the economists, the financial specialists. But this is not a question for the AI researcher per se. The ball has been set rolling, and we will certainly, I mean, I'm not a part of them, but still, I find joy in presenting it as we. We find joy in compiling things, in blending things, in putting things in different proportions so that the intelligence can be achieved even partially. Human intelligence, achieving the level of human intelligence from machines is still far away from. So, I mean, I don't find any question of merit there.
Sir, if I may just extend my question, that if we are aiming for the super AI enabled entity which is almost human, is this going to be beneficial for human civilization?
Again, I will bring in Dennett here. Dennett says that unless you have the ambience from which your question springs, you cannot actually discuss morality. We are thinking of someone is discussing something, and the mic is on, that is creating this. Anyway, unless that feature comes alive, we cannot handle the question of morality properly. You don't know what will happen to us 30 years from now due to the impact of climate change. You do not know what humans might want at that point of time from artificial intelligence. We do not know. We might have to beg before the super AI team for rescuing us from several situations where climate change has taken a very serious turn. So all these things cannot be discussed right now. It's quite difficult. And all the specialists in AI have stressed on this fact that speaking of morality, taking into consideration a future prospect, a future position, is not quite possible. So that is my answer, sir. There could be different answers, of course, and that makes the field so interesting. But thank you for your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. If you have any questions.
May I, sir? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, sir. You can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, sir. I am Rahul Jada from Sardar Patel University, research scholar. My question is that in the, some now social media apps have also installed this AI version now, narrow AI version. So if we travel somewhere and not taking a photograph or not giving any data in the mobile phone, still they are able to catch them, then is there any option to overcome this problem issues?
No, this is again, of course, this is a very, very interesting question. But there are several things which goes into this. Why the social media can come up with recommendations. It is called recommendation engine that works behind the social media. How it works, of course, it works depending on input. And even if you are not using your social media, there are several apps which are using your input, your voice input, in different manners. So you have to deny all the access to all the apps first. Then you will see that very soon the social media app would be failing in their recommendation. If you don't allow cross-platform information exchange, like the social media app able to take information from the emails or from your LinkedIn platform, your link, other timeline, then it won't be able to give you recommendations. And you will see that it's not being successful in its operation. But there are several ways that your cell phone collects information about your behavior, about your likes, your preferences. It's very difficult to limit them. So again, this is of course a very trivial question as far as our today's discussion is concerned. But this is important. This is important. This concerns us. No denying. Thank you for your very important question.
Thank you, sir.
I can see one question in the chat box from P. Ravi Kumar. He's asking that, do you think that there are some world problems only AI can solve, humans can never?
World problems, yes, of course. Ours is a global civilization now.
The question is like that, there are some world problems only that AI can solve, humans can never. Is there any like that?
I mean, as I tried to explain with my limited knowledge, that the phase where AI would be able to solve problems going beyond human capacity is the super AI level. So unless we reach there, we won't be able to address these problems at all using these AI tools. Now take the case of ChatGPT. After, say, ChatGPT 4, well, a quantum jump has been achieved. No denying that. We have to give credit to ChatGPT inventors and the people who keep developing it. But at the same time, we cannot deny the fact that, again, it is syntactical in nature. It actually recognizes the pattern. And the answer it gives you sometimes is so foolish that you yourself can understand that, see, it is following a particular syntax. It cannot understand the meaning. If you frame your question in such a manner that it is quite complex in nature and moves away from all the other syntaxes that you have used till now, you will find the ChatGPT app or the ChatGPT tool quite deficient in answering your question. So at this level, expecting ChatGPT to handle world problems like, say, wars in several countries, or hunger, or say human trafficking, or say the refugee problem, what do you expect it to suggest? Nothing more than we can suggest. Far less, actually. So world problems are more complex in nature since it involves several nations, so many human beings, around 800 billion, sorry, 8 billion. So this is not possible at the present stage of development. But what makes me interested is how scientists are using their expertise, how scientists are using AI in trying to fathom these problems, in trying to come up with a different explanation of such problems, so that humans can benefit from such complementary explanations, if it can be called complementary at all. So this is the thing that interests me most, and that is why I'm trying to study all these fields that feeds AI, that keeps developing AI. But at this stage, addressing world problems solely on the power of AI is not quite possible, sir.
Yes, thank you. I think Ayush Singh has raised his hand. So if he wants to ask any question, yeah, please.
So, sir, I'm Ayush Singh from the Marketing for Boys. I have a question that I've always wondered that although AI is like an imitation of human intelligence and a human brain, it is always, I've always seen that there are that AIs are trained to do certain tasks. And if we train AIs, they train more efficiently than human beings do if they're trained. And on the other hand, human beings, they have something called talent, which they're inborn with. But AI, even though it's made to imitate the human brain, cannot have that talent. So what is the difference in a human brain and AI, such that the human brain has something called the talent, while the AI has something which makes it more effectively trained when it's taught something?
A very good question, Ayush. You have already come up with two terms which we are generally familiar with. One is training, another is talent. Now, how do you define talent? These definitions are very important when you come to scientific problems. As you have seen, I have tried to explain in one of my slides that what is the level of expertise of AI, or how performance measure in relation to a task T. So this is defined since we want to measure or achieve. We assign numbers to our preferences since we want to measure the outcome. So how do you define talent? Of course, no denying that a computer doesn't have fatigue. It can do repetitive work 24/7, no stopping for rest, no fatigue, nothing. That is where it is efficient. But when it comes to human intelligence, which is endowed with several things, of which one particular thing which is relevant for tonight's presentation is the intentional stance. Just by looking at the face of someone, you can guess whether that person is going to jump at you, or is going to greet you, or going to extend his hand for a handshake. That is something that a computer or a system, a machine system has to come up with. It has to do some social reasoning. See, your talent also has a component called social reasoning. If you are a person who is only studying throughout the day, not mixing with others, not going to the shop, you are far less talented than your, say, schoolmates, your neighbors. You can be called talented at a particular field of study which you think is important. So defining this talent is very important. What do you want the AI for, the AI tool for? If you want it as the genie of the Aladdin lamp, you must have given the AI a lot of qualities without which it cannot perform. So no denying that the computer can gulp in information. It can integrate information into a structure as defined by the software that you have developed or you have put in, but it is not till now capable of performing tasks in the way we can use the information. It is not capable of doing that. So that is the present limit on AI, the present cap on AI. Again, as I said, I hope some major break will happen in the coming decade, as everyone hopes. Might be. Then we'll talk about AI in different terms. Thank you, Iris.
So I can just have one more question only, because already we're late. Surya Kumar, I think he was raising the hand. If he's there, he can ask the question. Final question for this seminar today, if he's there. Are you there, Surya Kumar? So if not, let me draw the conclusion. Before proposing the vote of thanks, I request Professor Rina Bhattacharya if he wants to say something or not.
So we have heard a very nice and informative talk from Dr. Manas Pratim Das, and AI, mind and AI, both the two things are different attribute. Okay, one is an engineering section in machine, and another one is some psychological and social, have some social aspects. So they are different, and he explained properly that mind has talent and some other things also, but this AI system or the machines have some scientific approach. He has to go into some scientific approach. So it is very interesting talk, and I think all the audience have has a great opportunity to have the nice informations about this development of AI. Historical things are also there. So thank you, Manas Pratim Das, and thank you, Kaushik, for inviting me. So now you can conclude.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Then let me just formally propose the vote of thanks. First of all, let me thank Dr. Manas Pratim Das, the speaker for this particular webinar. As I have already mentioned, this was 117th Foundation Day of glorious Calcutta Mathematical Society. And every year, this is our natural heritage and our habit, better to say in that way, just to organize one particular webinar or seminar, either just in person or like online virtual platform, whatever possible is. But nowadays, I feel that, rather we feel that this webinar, this virtual platform is catching altogether different persons from different corners of the globe. That is why, just to reach a number of people, a huge number of people, we are now trying to organize this kind of popular lectures over these virtual platforms. And that's why this particular webinar is being organized by this manner. And let me thank Dr. Manas Pratim Das for his wonderful, I must say it's a very wonderful talk and thought-provoking talk on this basic perspectives of this AI and how we can have the distinguishing features between the mind, human mind, and the essence of these artificial intelligence. That was really a wonderful lecture, and all of us, including the council members, the members of Calcutta Mathematical Society, as well as some non-members who have participated here, we have all actually gained something from your particular lecture. Thank you very much, sir. And let me thank Professor Rina Bhattacharya, our Honorable Secretary of Calcutta Mathematical Society, for his wonderful participation and cooperation and addressing you, as well as delivering the welcome address. And after that, the concluding remarks, let me thank Professor Bhattacharya once again. And also, I'd like to thank all the council members who are present here in this particular webinar platform. And finally, I have to thank all the participants who have encouraged us with this huge enthusiasm. We got actually registered more than 900 participants. Here we can gather only around 160 like participants, but others were actually engaged in the YouTube Live platform. So thank you very much for your wonderful enthusiasm, your participation. And let me thank also our admin, who is a council member of presently Calcutta Mathematical Society, Dr. Babdu Vishwas, for his background, wonderful cooperation throughout, just to broadcast the thing in YouTube Live and just organizing entire platform here. And side by side, I'd like to thank the administration of this P.N. Das College, because they have provided us the platform of these entire Google Meet technique, because just in the free platform of Google, you know, we can only provide something around 100 people, but we have taken the platform of P.N. Das College. That's why we are also grateful to this college authority. So let me thank everyone once again for this wonderful cooperation. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Okay. I must congratulate Dr. Kaushik Ghosh and Dr. Babu Vishwas for organizing.
No,
this
it's our
very
job. Thank
nicely.
you.
Okay.
It's our job. Thank you.
Okay. So good night, all of you. Okay.
Good night.
Good night.